Continuing now with our lead story, the murder of the American ambassador to Libya, Christopher Stevens, and 3 other Americans in Benghazi, Libya. Joining us now from Washington, Congressman Luis Gutierrez, a member of the House Intelligence Committee. So, Congressman, what say you?
Well, I think, number one, I'm mourning the death of a wonderful ambassador and 3 other Americans, condemning their death at the hands of extremist hands in Libya. And on the same token, I don't want to take a tragedy in Libya and try to make political points out of it. Look, Ambassador Stevens was our envoy to the insurgent groups before we got rid of Colonel Gaddafi. In other words, he's been there a long time. He was sent there by America to help foster democracy, which makes this even more ironic and a greater tragedy. He understood and worked, and he was then promoted to ambassador. America has a deep interest in making sure they have a keen relationship with the new people. I remember when Senator McCain and others went there and said, let's arm the rebels, let's arm the rebels. And while you may not have seen it overtly in terms of America's involvement, I recall that the first missiles that sent Gaddafi to his death were sent by America, and I think it was a good moment for America.
All right, but we have to look forward now, and there seems to be a division on how to handle this thing. Colonel Peters, who you just heard, says, look, we got to go in there, America, we can't hand it over to the Libyan government because it's chaotic, and we got to kill these Salafists. We got to just kill them. All right, whether we do it by drones or CIA activity or whatever, we got to eliminate them. Do you agree with that?
Number one, I assure you that the intelligence community of the United States of America, there are FBI agents, there are intelligence analysts already in Libya investigating, and we will find the culprits.
All right, but do you agree that they have to be killed? We have to target them, and we have to get them, not the Libyans. We have to get them.
Look, I think that American interests are American interests, and we should protect our interests, and it is what we are doing all over the world in this war on terrorism.
Okay, now, should the president have been a little bit stronger about the Egyptian situation? Because we all know, and you better than most, because you're in the Intel Committee, all right, that the Egyptian government could have stopped this cold and chose not to, so therefore American lives are put in danger and American property destroyed. Should the president have come out and said that better not happen again, and we're not going to tolerate it in a much stronger way than he did?
Yeah, you know, diplomacy's really tough, and as we know, Ambassador Stevens gave his life in the name of diplomacy. There are things, Bill, that you and I know are set and communicated, sometimes not publicly, so that we can achieve the goal. We want to make sure that we communicate with the people of Egypt that they are not our enemy. We want to communicate to the Muslim community that they are not. The extremists are enemies of America and should be dealt with in the harshest terms possible.
But
and I know that our
intelligence
community and our military apparatus is designing exactly those kinds of actions.
As I pointed out in my interview with President Obama on Super Bowl Sunday, all right, the Muslim Brotherhood is controlling the Egyptian government now. The civilian side. They're in control, all right, unfortunately. They're not our friends. So what do we do?
Here's what we do is we use diplomacy, Bill.
You got to have more than that. Well, you know, President Obama doesn't have more than that, he's going to lose.
If I could, in Libya we had a lot more than that, and we were successful in getting rid of a terrible tyrant named Gaddafi. And now we need to make sure that we stabilize the government there and that democracy has an opportunity to flourish.
All right, but now we're in Egypt. You've just left Egypt, and I want to get back to Egypt. The government of Egypt is not friendly to the United States. What do you do?
What we do is we continue to have those kinds of conversations, and we use the kind of channels that are available to us to communicate. I agree with you when you say, look, the government of Egypt has a responsibility, a duty to protect everyone that is not only Egyptian nationals, but American nationals that are there. It is through their invitation. Our ambassador brings his credentials.
Well, we may have to force them. We may have to force their hand. Congressman, always good to see you.
And I can only tell you that I think those conversations, I don't know that they're taking place, but I can assure you that our intelligence community is trying to find out the murderers of our fine and distinguished ambassador.
Okay, Congressman, thanks as always. Directly ahead, Dick Morris on the new presidential polling. Some of it good news for Romney and the Middle East situation. And later, Dennis Miller weigh in on the violence last night and the 2 presidential